Hi, my name is Sotonye.
And my name is Oluchi.
And welcome to the CX Playbook. This podcast is for customer service enthusiasts
and businesses looking to improve their customer service. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Thank you for joining us.
Hello again. Welcome to the CX Playbook. My name is Oluchi.
And I'm Sotonye.
How are you doing this week?
Good.
I'm doing Anku this week. Interesting thing, I was having a conversation with a friend and I typed Anku as ANKU.
Oh, wow.
I kid you not, I'm not joking. I don't care. This makes me look dumb. I thought that's what it was. First was I like, did you mean and co as in ANDCO? I'm like, look, I call it Anko. That's what it is. So we're doing Anko today with our CX podcast logo.
Yeah.
Love it. So, how are you doing? What are we talking about this week? A big one.
Big one. I hope we don't get shut down.
It's episode 3. If we're still okay, then I think we'll be fine.
All right. Okay, so today we're talking about monopoly of industry and its effects on customer experience.
Yeah, that's true. For just a bit more clarity, monopoly of industry implies where there are very few, or in some cases, only one major player in offering a particular service or even products, to be honest with you. So yeah, we just want to talk about the fact that, especially in Nigeria, we have a lot of sectors that are kind of governed by these, I like to call them principalities, because you can't do without them. You understand? They're so important in the scheme of things. So it's really bad. I wonder why we're that way in this country. I wonder why we don't have more options in terms of some of the things.
I don't know, like I'm not even going to pretend. Can you think of any benefit of having a monopolistic industry to the customers, that is?
Yes, I mean, obviously. I mean, that's why we're here. We're talking about some of the customers.
Because of the businesses, it's great.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, hey, I would love to have a monopolistic. Are you joking? You give me a sector and give me the money and the capital and I will own it, you understand?
Gladly.
So yeah, for a business, obviously, being a monopoly means you're the only one who provides that service. You're positioned as the mega power, so to speak. But honestly, to the customers, and that's why we're here, if you ask me to give you one benefit as to why a monopoly, counts, I can't give it to you, because it would imply that I'm suggesting that the business truly has its customers at heart. And the thing about it is, it could start off that way, especially when you're in a monopoly. But when the money starts coming, you find out the customers start to get the short end of the stick. So I really can't think of any benefit. And I'll give a couple of examples. We have only one major player in cable TV.
Yeah.
Right now. We used to have a couple smaller players. But to be honest with you, let's be honest, in the last 20, 25 years, we've had one major player. And in fact, that player is like an Africa player.
Yeah. And they're holding everyone to ransom, in my opinion.
Because now it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about this thing too much, because it's especially painful, that cable TV one, because it's my most frustrating bill.
Do you know the only reason we pay for cable TV in my house? Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. If my husband is out of the house for a month, I won't pay that money. I will make. I think it's so bad that you can't justify that expense.
Yeah.
But you can't not have it, because again, even if you leave husbands out of it, the kids are going to need to watch something on TV and all of that. So that is a major one. Even with, and funny enough, again, like I said, monopoly doesn't necessarily entail that it's only one player. It could be just a very small amount of players. So telco, for instance, is another one. We only have 4 major players.
Yeah.
That means
they just keep rebranding themselves.
I mean, they just change the name here and there. And then you find yourself that if you don't want to stay with one, the other options are not as vast. Everybody offers pretty much the same
pretty
thing.
much the same
offering
type of service.
Yeah, there's no niche. There's no, okay, if I go here, I have this more value. No, it's pretty much the same all around. So I really can't think of anyone. And it's very important that monopolies are broken for the customer's sake.
Yeah.
Strictly for the customer's sake. Because what happens when a monopoly is broken and there's a new player in town is that player has a unique advantage of offering that same service but in a different way.
Yeah.
I'll give an example of like way back in the day when GSM came in. One of the players came in with the per second billing. Nobody
Yeah.
else had that. So it
Yeah.
was the same thing, but it was going from minutes to per second. So people now realize that, because then you would make a call, and even if it was a 15-second call, you're being billed for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So they came and then
I
gave the whole
remember.
idea of that, if you eat an apple, you should only pay for the parts of the apple that you have bitten. So yeah, monopolies do not help the customer in any way. But again, breaking the monopoly is not easy.
Right.
You cannot just come from nowhere. You don't have the capital. You don't have the support. You just don't have it. So it's very difficult, but to break it. But monopolies, honestly, in my opinion, they do not help the customer. So I
Yeah.
think I would now, in that same vein, if I'm saying that a monopoly doesn't help the customer, it entails that healthy competition is what the customer would prefer. So
Certainly.
how
Certainly.
do you think that helps the
Oh
customer?
my. So I mean, we can't overemphasize. Healthy competition brings a lot of benefits to customers.
Okay.
I would even use an example. So the banking sector. Once
Mm-hmm.
upon a time, we could have called that monopolistic.
Actually,
Yeah.
until like
But then in recent years, like it's
check people
crazy how, the healthy competition, like,
easy.
and I mean, the customers are spoiled for choice at this point
Honestly,
because people are literally jumping from bank to bank.
and you don't even have to walk into a bank. There are banks that don't have
Yeah,
buildings.
so they're virtual banks, which is just
Yes,
amazing.
and
And you
convenient.
see, so that's an industry where we're seeing new players
Mm-hmm.
and they're bringing with them, like you said, something new. So in the banking sector, it's mostly innovation as to ease of transaction, right? So they're finding ways for people to do their business, easily,
Seamlessly and
yeah, and
easily. Yeah.
seamlessly. And you hear people say things like, "Oh, I'm with this virtual bank because I get my money in seconds. Literally, if you send it, you receive it immediately." And that's a pain. So they're basically addressing pain points
Yeah.
that the
Commercial.
dinosaurs put in place and refuse to address. Because think about it,
No wonder
the
you said you were drag on this episode. Hey, because you said you opened the episode like that. I was like, is there something you have in mind? Dinosaurs, wow.
yeah, because
I mean, well,
and
you're
the
not wrong.
dinosaurs are being dragged every day because you walk into their branches and you have these long queues at customer service. And I kid you not, it's the same problem people have been queuing up for the past 10 years.
I didn't get the alert. I didn't get the money. The
Yes,
money was
same
sent.
thing. But unfortunately, I personally feel like these, old players still think they're in a monopolistic industry.
Oh, they believe
So
so.
they've refused to acknowledge the new players. And so
yeah.
they are innovating in a direction that's irrelevant to the customer. So they're always announcing new products, new services, but it's doing nothing to fix
Exactly
the problems that customers have been
Yes. They have not evolved with the
complaining
problems of
about.
the customer. The customer's
Exactly.
problem has changed. The customer now doesn't want to we want a situation where we want to confirm a payment. We're not waiting for the alert to come on the phone before we can confirm.
Yeah.
These new banks have done it in such a way that you can see the confirmation right on the POS,
Yes.
right as
I
they're
don't
doing
want
it.
to walk into a branch of any bank to have
Ever.
to conduct business.
Ever.
Yeah. And so, I use the banking sector as an example to say, other industries, you might find competitive pricing, you might find better quality because then everyone is trying to compete on something. And the top two are pricing and quality.
Yeah.
And then you might find people bringing even increased product variety as well.
Yeah.
Just trying to offer the customer something new, something different.
a different flavor, a different type of whatever, the same thing.
Yeah. So in that sense, customers are spoiled for choice and they're spoiled on whatever basis they decide to be spoiled. So I want to be spoiled for choice in terms of pricing. I want to be spoiled for choice in terms of quality.
Yeah.
I want to be spoiled for choice in terms of offering, customization, whatever. Like, woo me.
Toast me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm expect. What's I talking about?
To make me yours. I'm not cheap.
Yeah, you're completely correct.
Yeah.
The banking sector that you use is so apt because now these new guys it's crazy. Every time I get like, oh, send me your account number, I always get one of these funny places. You can use your phone number to turn into an account number. It's just it's crazy, and it's mad how the dinosaurs, I'm going to keep that name actually because it's actually quite apt, refuse to understand that the customer's problem 10 years ago, it's not the customer's problem now.
Yeah.
Now that almost everybody has a smartphone,
Yeah.
even the unbanked that we like to talk about, some of them have smartphones.
Yeah.
Why are you not adjusting or even, again, collaborating with these other guys? But they see them as they won't last.
Yeah.
We are the ones.
We've been here long enough.
We learned the hard way. God is going to do them like film because that's not how life works. You
Yeah.
understand? I mean, there's so many instances of like, remember when we used to rent movies?
Yeah.
Those people who had movie rentals, the guys who used to
Yeah.
run that place, we used to be like gods.
Yeah.
Like they were the guys in charge. Now it's Netflix. It's sorry, I called their name, but I mean, this is what it is. They're a
Yeah.
global brand with all these options.
Because even with cable TV, in as
Mm-hmm.
much as some of us are being held to ransom because of football,
Mm-hmm.
there are people who have switched because
You can
they've
watch it
moved.
online now.
Yeah, they can stream whatever.
Yeah, you can watch it online
So
now.
I feel like these monopolies are losing power,
Mm-hmm.
and whether or not they like it, as we continue to evolve as humans, we continue to innovate,
Mm-hmm.
and there would always be another option
Always.
someday,
Always.
if not yet, someday. And if you don't evolve with the customer,
you can't. You're not going to stay
that's
alive.
it.
You're not going to
Yeah.
stay alive. The customers keep your business alive.
Because the power has shifted.
The
Back
power- yeah,
then, they had
yeah,
the power to determine
yeah.
what they gave
'Cause you
the
didn't have a
customer.
choice.
Yes, and the customer had to take it.
It was either put the
Yeah.
money in the bank with them or put it under your bed. And not in the era of armed robbers, you understand? So you didn't have a choice; you had to give it to them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll ask you, what do you think that these companies with monopoly? Because let's be honest, again, like I said, it's not that easy to break a monopoly. So
Yeah.
the companies exist; we cannot throw them away,
Mhm.
but they have to recognize their challenges. So,
Yeah.
what do you think that companies that are monopolistic or that are currently enjoying the favors of monopoly
Yeah.
currently, because I know it's not going to last.
Yeah.
What do you think they can do to endear their customers to them, to stay with them in the events that competition does arise?
Yeah. So I think my first one would be something we've already talked about, which is they're going to have to evolve with the customer's needs.
Yeah.
Like you just have to. You can't stay stuck in what you do. Those people that say, "Oh well, this is how I am," or "This is how I am. I can't change for anybody."
Accept me for who I am.
Yeah, so you're going to have to evolve. You're really going to have to look into, okay, what are customers really looking for these days? What's even out there? Because customer needs also evolve based on, what's also out there, what's happening around them. So if someone is offering them something nicer, flashier, you're going to have to evolve to that point where you can compete with that
new and
person.
flashy
Yes,
thing.
you have to compete. You have to compete in the space that the customer wants
And existing.
Yes, and existing.
Very
So you're not competing based on what you feel you can do, but basically you're
what the
competing based on what the
customer
customer
wants
actually
and the
wants.
value that they place on the
Yeah.
service or the goods that you're providing.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'll add a bit to that. The monopolistic companies, the companies who currently thrive in a monopoly, need to always deliver like they're hungry. Yes, something new and shiny might come across, but sometimes there's a stability in the old
Yeah.
that they need to establish or communicate. You see some banks, like one of their taglines is, since 1904, we have been here for 100 years. They know what they're doing in
Yeah,
saying those things. They're
certainly.
trying to remind you that new and shiny is great. And unfortunately, let's be honest, even in that sector, we've seen some of these financial guys come and go.
Yeah.
So knowing that you have the advantage of experience, you have the
Yeah.
advantage of what an elder sees sitting there, it's not blah, 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 blah. You have all that. Use it to your advantage, but always deliver like you're hungry. They can't, they've gotten lax, they've gotten comfortable. I think that's the major issue. You can't just be like, well, if you come, you come. If you don't come, you don't come. No, you can't do that. You need to be able to be like, please show up, please come to us. And again, like you said, just it's still that evolution. It's still in line with evolution. And the second thing that I'll probably say is do regular check-ins with your customer. I can't remember the last time a traditional bank asked me a question about what I want.
Come to think of it.
Yeah. But these other guys are constantly like, surveys,
Yeah.
this, they ask. Maybe they do some level of some other type of customer research. I mean, there's customer research that we might not be
that we're not partaking in.
Yes, like focus groups. I have my challenge with focus groups as a company. As I say, I was giving them benefits of doubt. It's benefits of doubt. Maybe there's something that they're doing. But whatever it is, it has never reached my side. You understand? I'm thinking for myself. But you need to check in with the customer. And sometimes in checking in doesn't necessarily mean just going to the road and putting mic in people's faces and say, how do you know? No. You could, you could do some surveys. A lot of the times, again, what these big companies do is they hire consultants.
Yeah.
Quotes, consultants. And I think somebody said to me before that consultant is basically someone you pay to tell you what the time is.
Okay.
And it's very interesting that I'm saying this because I kind of do consulting, but I really, really do think that word has been bastardized and
Yeah, it has.
people have, taken it to another level. And I think that if these companies are really using those people, then they're not telling them the truth and they're not giving them the true picture of things. Also, if you're giving information and say, okay, this is what the customer wants, use it. Some of these companies, it's not like they don't know. They just choose to not use
Not
the
to use
information
it.
that they
Yeah.
get, and that's still in that part of being very arrogant in your existence for the however number of years you've been existing for. So yeah, deliver like you're hungry. Ask the customers what they want, and when they tell you, do it.
Yeah. Speaking of asking the customers what they want, you
Mhm.
just reminded me of something.
Mm.
So I'm now used to getting these calls, funny enough, from pretty much the same companies
Okay.
who are used to being monopolistic or monopolistic. And they're basically calling you because perhaps you haven't used their service in a while, right?
Yeah.
Now, my problem with those calls are more focused on trying to offer me something to start using your service again,
Not to
as
find out
opposed to
why
asking me
you stopped.
why I stopped using your service.
True.
And I think the only thing more annoying
Mm.
than getting one of those calls
Mm.
is getting like 5 in the space of 1 month.
And then you're like, well, you call.
And I'm like, but I'd like, we've had this
I
conversation.
tell classic exercise. This is what happened. Like they paint you the picture. List of 1,000 people. Each agent 100. Everybody calls. They take that same list, swap it.
Swap again.
No checks to see this person has been
Yeah.
called. It's just it's lazy. Let's call it what it is.
Super lazy.
It's incredibly lazy, and it's also incredibly, like, how do I put it? It's not there's no thinking of the customer.
No,
None whatsoever.
you're just trying to, and then I don't want to give specific examples,
Mhm.
but one of those calls, they're offering me something that under no circumstance would I
Would you
ever be
ever?
interested in.
So zero profiling
So
whatsoever.
yeah, so that even got me more upset because it's like, okay, as at the time I was using your service, if you had the data, is this something that I would like sign up for?
Let me make you angrier. This thing, they call you, they ask you this question, they know you're not supposed to need it. So why did I fill all those forms?
Yeah. The
I know, I
forms.
told you.
The
I'll make
forms.
you angrier. Because
The
in most cases,
forms.
those forms they tell you because they want to be able to categorize you.
Yeah.
You didn't.
They
You
don't even
didn't
know where
categorize
they don't
me.
even know where those forms are.
You just went to the form, you gave me this long form to fill, asked me everything from my maternal grandmother's surname, and then I gave it to you, and then you didn't even use it. So why? Why make the process so cumbersome? And again, back to banks. I'm sorry, banks are going to collect it today. That's because they're they're going to take it today because you make the process of opening an account so difficult.
Yeah,
You
so
have to
cumbersome.
bring your light bill of the current and former house you stayed in. You make it so cumbersome. So what is it that is the other people are doing that they make it that I can go online and give some information and I have my account?
Yeah.
Why is that gap so big?
That's a good question.
Why can't we get to a place where, okay, fine, instead of filling 3 forms, fill 1? Okay, the other guys is half. Okay, at least the gap is close. You are offering the same service, but the method and way to get to where you're going to is so massive. Why does it have to be that way?
I think it's just still that thing of just, yeah, this is how we are, this is how we've been doing it, and this is how we're just going to continue doing it. Like, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
So I think the word of the day is evolution.
Yeah.
You must evolve.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. You can't be stagnant. And I think because we talked about big businesses a lot,
Yeah.
we do have small businesses that are sort of monopolistic. You could have a small business that's probably the only one who ships a certain thing from China. Yes, you're not a household name or a multinational, but you've created a monopoly within your space. So you could say, okay, I'm the only one that ships in Vietnam hair into this country. Let me use that example.
Yeah.
And then you are like, I'm the best, I'm the baddest, no one can come near me. Guess what? Somebody's going to sleep and wake up and be like, Vietnam, huh? All right, let's go. And then bring it in.
Yeah.
And then maybe even shave off some pricing that you're not, maybe buy in bulk, do something
Yeah,
different from you
something
and offer a
different.
different service. What keeps you in business? Because some of your customers have already started getting irritated with you and it's like, there's another plug.
Yeah, they're so quick. They'll be so quick to
exactly.
move.
So how do you need to keep yourself, use that stability that you've gained and use that to keep the customers that you've managed to get over the course of time?
Yeah. I think a very quick way to round up would be just so for the businesses, like you said, the people who would wake up one morning and decide they want to break the monopoly, what would you say to them?
Go for it.
How?
If you first of all, if you're used to decide to go to monopoly, it means you have the money for it. I can't be telling you you have to get money. You have to have
Yeah.
no. I mean, I'm presuming that you have decided that you have the money.
Yeah. But what are
Why I
the
would
things they should
say
pay attention to?
you need to do, and this is such a cliche answer, but market research.
Mm.
Who is currently in the game?
Yeah.
What are they offering? What can I offer different? You can't come and offer the same thing.
No.
Because you have one advantage. You're the new and shiny product. It's like you're the jam bites in the school. So everybody's going to be interested.
Yeah.
But guess what? Longevity.
Yeah.
Sustainability.
Yeah.
If you're very new to the game and I come and I patronize you and I realize that it's all chaff. It's all, it's all what's the word I'm looking for? It's aesthetics. No, it's not substance. You understand? So yeah, go for it, but all you need to stand out. There needs to be something
Yeah.
you're doing differently from the other guys. If not, just keep your money.
Yeah.
Don't bother going into
Yeah.
it. But if you can break that monopoly and you can do it with substance, you will actually end up having a very successful business.
Yeah, I think that's the best advice. Really, you have to bring something new to the table.
Something new,
And people
something
would,
tangible.
yes, and people would jump, at the
By
sight of new
default.
and shiny.
By
But then
default.
you also have to have the substance to
keep-
keep them. Yeah.
Because if not, they'll go back. It's like so many restaurants opening up and down. We hear that it has opened, we go, we eat. Later, we go back to our regular place.
Story for another episode.
Yeah, sorry for another episode. All right, guys, this has been really, 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 really fun conversation discussing monopolistic businesses and how they affect the customer experience for customers. So I think I hope you've learned something. Anything else you want the viewers or listeners to do for us?
Just weigh in, send in your comments, your thoughts, your questions, and
Like, share, subscribe.
let's continue the conversation.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, my name is Oluchi.
And my name is Sotonye. Until next time.